Do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile? Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along, and I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving.
So when you move to a foreign country, particularly if you're an older person, the thought of, oh my gosh, what do I do if I need to go to the hospital, occasionally crosses your mind. Unfortunately, it doesn't cross your mind until you actually have to do it, right? How many of us come here and we unpack our stuff and we go, sorry about all the noise today. How many of us move here? We unpack our stuff, we hang curtains, furnish our kitchen, our apartments, and we go, okay, now let's figure out how we go to the hospital just in case of emergency. Well, I hope to show you that in this video. So the first stop, or the first thing you actually have to do, is you have to find the tram 1 line, especially if you're young at heart, senior like us, because we're going to go to the hospital for grown-ups. Yesterday we had to go to the hospital and we took the line 2 line, or tram 2 line. We ended up at the hospital for children. So we had to back it all up, get back to tram line 1 and get on the tram. So I'm at the Jean Médecin tram 1 stop on Boulevard Jean Médecin, and we're going to take a trip to the hospital today. So come along with me. You want to head in the direction of Hôpital Pasteur. Here's our tram. The hospital is the very last stop on this tram. So we'll know we're there when the tram stops and they say, terminate, everybody get out. As you can see, the stop right before the one I'm getting off at is where the big Leclerc store is. So in case you have some shopping to do on the way up or the way back, this is Pont Michel. It's the stop for the big Leclerc supermarket. And you can see we've got mountains up there. So we are pretty far away from where we started. By the time we get off at the last stop, it will be approximately 35-minute ride. So we're getting off at the next stop.
À bientôt sur le réseau Ligne d'Azur.
Okay, so I got off the tram. Now what? Well, just over my shoulder, over that way, is where the hospital is. So let's head over to the hospital. Okay, you can almost see it off in the distance. See the writing on that building over there, that hospital. So in case you have to come here day or night, lots of people around. Doesn't seem like a terrible area. I know that doesn't say a whole lot, does it? It's easier to get back to the tram for sure. Well, look at that nice piece of art right there. That's lovely. Anyway, I was here last night coming out of the hospital and I felt relatively safe. I didn't see anything that looked concerning. So it's a short walk, just sort of up this sort of hill. And you see there are signs that say, the sign says CHU +2. That's where we're headed. If by chance you come by car, well, this is where ambulances go, so you don't want to go that way. So we're headed up the hill. Got to stay on the sidewalk area over here. A walkway. Keep you out of it so you don't get hit by a car. Okay, heading up to the hospital. See, there's the parking lot for the hospital. And you go in up here. But if you're living in Nice or you're vacationing here, chances are you're going to come by tram the same way I did. So very easy to find the hospital. Take the steps. Over there where it says urgence, that's the emergency. Now, there is a gate. If you look very closely, nobody goes through that gate without talking to the security guard. So you simply have to tell the security guard why you're there at the emergency room. They won't let a whole lot of people through. If you're coming with a loved one, they'll let you and your loved one come through. And you'll have to go through minimal security, sort of like the airport, where they look in your purse and then let you pass. So that's where you go for emergencies. Now, when you get inside, there is a reception desk. You'll get in and just sort of right to your left is a reception area. You stop there and you tell them why you're there. Like, what's the medical problem? And then they give you a number and they take your carte vitale, your mutuelle card. Let's see what else. They ask for your phone number. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Your address, your phone number. And then they give you a sheet full of stickers for the person who's there that have the person's name on. I mean, like, you know, the sick person. They'll have the sick person's name on the stickers. And it's a whole sheet full of them. And they'll give you a number like at the deli back in the U.S. And then you go and sit in a waiting room and you look at the board. And when they call the number that's on your little deli waiting ticket, then you go into another room and you sit at another counter and you explain, I guess there's a nurse back there who's doing the intake. And you tell the nurse why you're there, what's wrong, how do you feel? And she will take all the information down maybe ask some preliminary questions, and then tell you to go back into the first waiting area where you were sitting, and that a doctor will come and get you. And by you, I mean the person who is sick. At this point, if you're there with a loved one who has an emergency, this is as far as you will go. You're going to have to sit in that waiting room and just wait for your loved one. Nobody will come out and give you any information. So you just wait. And based on our experience, it could be hours that you're waiting. So bring a book. There is a vending machine for coffee, cold drinks, candy, cookies, chips. But you're going to park it there until the doctor calls you to examine you. And then if you're the patient, once you get behind those doors, it's anybody's guess how long you're going to be. Guess it depends on your problem. Okay, now today I'm headed over to the main entrance to go visit my loved one, who unfortunately had to have some emergency surgery last night and is going to be staying here for the next few days. So I'm going to go inside the entrance and ask to see him. Now, I may not be able to shoot any video from this point forward, but I will come out and tell you about how it went, if there's anything exciting to say other than, yeah, I saw him. Okay, I am heading on in. So, to find out where your loved one is, unfortunately the reception desk down here is not being serviced, so we have to go upstairs. I think this might be the reception desk right here, where I will ask what room to go to. No, that was not it. So we're going to continue on to this one that says Accolade. Okay, so the sad news is that I went to the wrong building. But this is the main building. So you have to go to this building to find out you went to the wrong building. So the building I have to go to is kind of a bit of a walk around the block. And so I'm going to head over there now, and I will show you where I'm going. Now, I don't know if this particular division of the hospital is just for ear, nose, and throat, or what it's for, but I'll be back to you soon. And so we had to leave the main hospital, which is over there, and now we've crossed the street and walked around to the right, and now we're walking. This is actually a hill. So we're walking around the hill to a set of steps to cut to a parking lot that gets us to another hill that we have to climb. Here is that set of steps. Unfortunately, I'm shooting this on a day that I'm dragging a heavy suitcase with me with clothes to bring to our patient who may be going home tomorrow. So anyway, I will continue on up the steps. Okay, some very nice young man helped me up the rest of the steps with this. Now I have to go up there. So I have to walk around where those cars are driving and then walk up that hill, not to that building, but another building past it. So on I go. So I don't know if it's easy to tell in the video, but this is like all uphill. So I've almost made it to this first building, and then I've got to walk about, I don't know how far. I have to walk more. Okay, I have to keep going. As you can see, there's a row of taxis out here. I guess these are for people who are leaving the hospital. Okay, so I had to walk about another 6 minutes to this division of the hospital, which I guess is part of the university hospital. So I'm gonna go inside. This is the Institut Universitaire de la Face et du Cou. University Institute, and it's for the face and neck. Today we're taking the elevator to the 4th floor. And this is sort of the elevator lobby waiting area. And we're going to go along here. It's very quiet up here. So this is a typical single hospital room. We didn't ask for a private room, but this is what we got. So there's lots of space in here. Has a TV, but probably have to make some special arrangements to get that set up. And today, for a change, he's got the blinds open. Yesterday, he didn't want blinds open. He was like pretending to be a vampire. So the good news is, as of my shooting this, Jeff is gonna come home tomorrow. Fingers crossed, all is well when he wakes up in the morning. If they're still in agreement, he'll be coming home. And here he is following his surgery last night. We weren't sure he was going to be camera ready, but he insists this is as good as it gets.
Yes.
And Jeff, do you have any words you'd like to say? How are you feeling?
You know, I asked you to bring me an orange today. What I should have asked for was grapes, seedless grapes. Maybe tomorrow when you come to visit me in prison here, you can bring me seedless grapes.
These are your words of wisdom? These are the words you're putting on the video that will be out on Sunday?
Okay.
Seedless grapes?
Those would be nice. Just grapes.
Is there nothing else you'd like to talk about with your experience in the hospital?
I don't. They might be good for my boogie, those grapes. Anything about breathing and a return trip from the bathroom might be beyond my limits anymore. So I'm hoping that the medicine makes me all better again.
What do you think of the food at this hospital?
The food at the hospital, because I've had a sore throat, it was like applesauce in a little cup. It was yogurt, your favorite. It was a little box of chocolate milk. And it was like a little box of something else.
But did you enjoy it?
It was like something you get out of a vending machine.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did like it because at that time I had not eaten or tasted anything for 6 days. Imagine if you haven't eaten for 6 days, how just an ant off the floor would taste so good. Warm meat from an ant, that would be delicious.
Do you like how they're treating you here at this hospital?
Yes, I love the way you've been treating me here at the hospital.
No, not me, the people, the staff. Are the nurses nice and friendly?
Honestly, I feel like they put me in this room to die. But that's just my attitude because I'm very grumpy and very old.
Not very old. Grumpy, yes.
I'm sure they're doing a very fine job, but I'm just a grumpy old man who has a sore throat.
Do they speak English?
But
Do they speak a lot of English here?
they have done amazingly well speaking English, yes.
Okay, except for that one lady who came in before to see if you wanted a drink.
Yeah, she had a little bit of trouble. But that's okay, she's in France.
Okay.
I should learn that. I'm sort of sitting here thinking I'll have hours and hours here to practice up on my babble France.
Yes, there you go. And I brought you your phone today. You can whip out that app and start practicing. And when you come out of the hospital in a few days, you'll almost be fluent.
I know.
So now it's nighttime when I'm leaving the hospital. It's about 5:30 at night. So just so you get an idea of what the area looks like this late. In the building where Jeff is, it's part of the teaching hospital. And so it's further up the hill. And the reception people were already gone when I left, and that was at 5:30, as I said. So there aren't a whole lot of people out on the street, but there are enough people, and it's pretty lit up around here. So there are people out here. There is activity. And now I am headed back, hoping to find a tram ready to leave when I get there. Hopefully I won't miss it. And that's my visit to the hospital. Hopefully you never have to take this trip. But just in case, if you're living in Nice, now you know how to get there. Oh no, there goes my tram. Just missed it. Well, there's always another one. Thanks for coming with me.
So today, I know I must be getting better because I don't have my IVs hooked in anymore. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow, making a break and getting out of here and going home. But Anne, thank you for taking good care of me here at the hospital. I love you.
The good news is when you leave the hospital, it's all downhill. Home, look, Daddy's home. Are you happy to see your daddy? Are you happy?
Oh yeah, baby, you're back. Ooh la la.
You made it.
Hmm?
Any final words?
Glad to be back home.
So we are so happy that Jeff is back from the hospital and he is starting to feel better and better every single day. But I wanted to add a few tips to this video because not only is it important to find the hospital before you need to go to the hospital, find the emergency room. Also, somebody should tell you, You should know what to do when it's time for your loved one or yourself to leave the hospital. In our particular case, I mean, the care at the hospital was fabulous. Jeff had numerous people who spoke English. I speak French, so when I would get there, occasionally, if they didn't choose to speak English, they would speak to me in French, so that's not an issue. However, when we left the hospital, we got two things. We got a sheet of paper, and this is a full report this started when Jeff got to the emergency room. That's when they started writing this report. It's what happened when he got to the emergency room, what symptoms he had, what was done in the emergency room. Then it goes on and talks about the examinations he had, and then it goes on and it talks about the treatment, the surgery he had, who the anesthesiologist was, and it also, at the end, it has sort of a summary on what is going to be happening next. So one thing that I missed, now I should add here, I studied French for 8 years. I know a lot of French. I can speak French. Sometimes I have a hard time understanding these people because they speak very quickly. And here in Nice, they tend to cut words in half, and so I don't know what the original word was before they scrunched it together. I guess that's sort of a Niçoise dialect. But if they speak slow enough, I can understand a lot of what they're saying. And I can certainly give out a whole lot more than I can understand. So they seem to understand me well, and many people confuse me for a French person. They ask me where in France I came from, so I must be saying things well. Anyway, on the form, it had notation that he was supposed to have a nurse visit every day at home. I missed that. I didn't know the words. But somewhere on this page, there is a sentence that says that he needs to have a visiting nurse come every day. I missed that. So fortunately, we had another person who came to our house to exchange the CPAP machine that my husband uses, who is a French person, and he speaks perfect English, and he asked me if I wanted him to translate this whole document for me, and I asked him if he would. So he read it, and even he had a hard time with a lot of the words. He said that a lot of this is medical language, and only medical people would know what it says. So I guess even if you're a fluent French speaker, or you're a fair speaker in French, apparently it's not going to help you in understanding the documents. So it's a good idea to ask somebody before you leave the hospital to tell you what these papers say, especially if there are continuing instructions for caregivers at home. So as I said, in this case, I missed the line that said that I needed to get him, or he needed to have a visiting nurse at home. So, but we had already figured that out before that. So in addition, they gave us an ordonnance. An ordonnance is a prescription. So we had a long list of things on this document, all done handwritten by an intern. Kind of surprised that it wasn't typed up. It's very hard to read his handwriting. And there was another paper I don't have, unfortunately. The visiting nurse took the paper. But it had step-by-step instructions on what they want the visiting nurse to do each day. But I had that paper originally, and I had gone to the drugstore, the pharmacy, with the ordonnance, the long list of things that I had to get. And it was all kinds of things in addition to his antibiotic, different kinds of gauze and wrapping things and syringes and tweezers and bandages and all kinds of stuff because he has some stitches on his neck. So I got this huge bag of stuff, and I'm looking at the other sheet, and it's sort of, I could tell it was instructions, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they want me to do all of this. I don't even understand what it's telling me to do. So even knowing French, and I can read a whole lot better, I think, than I can understand somebody talking to me, I had no idea what it was telling me to do. And I'm thinking, oh my God, my poor husband, somebody's got to do all of this. And I said to the pharmacy, she said, don't worry about it, someone will do it. And I said, who's going to do it? I'm the only one. And she said, oh, I mean, she didn't have the paper, the other one that I had, that said he needs to have a visiting nurse. So when I went to another pharmacy to get some of this long list of things filled, one pharmacy didn't have everything that I needed, so I had to go to a different pharmacy. The pharmacist there spoke English, and I said to him, I don't know how to do on any of this stuff. And he said, oh my goodness, you don't have to do it. He said, you need a nurse. Your visiting nurse will do it. And I said, well, they didn't tell me to get a visiting nurse. And he said, no, you get a visiting nurse. He said, no, you wait right here. And he pulls out his phone, and he called a visiting nurse on the phone. And I had the instructions on what the nurse was supposed to do at that point. And he read step by step for the person on the phone, and he said, they need you at their home tomorrow. Understood that much. And so he managed to get a nurse to show up the very next day, almost at the strike of noon. And that guy confirmed that he would be coming to our house every single day for at least the next 7 days. Jeff has a doctor's appointment a week from when he left the hospital. So the visiting nurse will come. So now my stressing over how am I going to do all of this? I don't even understand what it is and what all these boxes are. Stress is gone. So the most important tip I have for you is if luck takes you to the hospital and you have to be admitted, or even you go to the emergency room and they send you home with a prescription, don't leave the hospital until you find somebody who can explain to you what needs to be done. If it's in French, and even if you think you know French, read it, and if you don't understand every single word of what that paper says, find somebody who speaks English in that hospital and ask them to tell you exactly what you need to do. So I know for the future, and fortunately the nice man who came to bring my husband a new CPAP machine, he told me everything. So I'm much more informed now, and if hopefully we won't have to, but God forbid, we end up at the hospital for either Jeff or I again. Now we know, don't leave that hospital until you understand every single bit of what home care needs to be for the patient. So that's the most important tip. The most important thing that I have learned in dealing with Jeff having to go to the hospital. I mean, we're devastated that he had to go to the hospital. We have no clue how he caught this terrible, terrible infection. The first doctor that he went to see told me that doctor didn't even speak English, but it was the only person I could find that had an appointment that day. He said it's terrible. He had never seen anything so bad, and he said that this is not a common infection. So, I'm thankful that Jeff has come through this well. They took great care of him in the hospital. I don't think he liked the food very much. The funny thing, I do have to tell you this funny story. He had a television in his room, And I said to him, do they give you a menu on what the meals are? And he said, no, the menu is on the television. And I said, it's on the television. And he pops open, he like uses the remote, he turns on the TV. And on the television, it had the name of I guess the person who donated the money for the division of the hospital he was staying in. And it was Antonio, something long that looked like lasagna. Jeff thought that was the menu, that they were putting the day's menu on there because the French word looked like lasagna. So I had to explain to him, no, that isn't the menu. That's the name of this division of the hospital. So anyway, it pays to learn French before you come here. You know, Jeff is still learning. He's still at a very basic level, although his French is improving. But it hadn't improved enough for him to be able to tell the difference between the name of a person on a television screen, television system, and lasagna. So thanks so much for coming with us on this journey. Hopefully Jeff will be better in another week or two. We're hoping by Christmas. Every day he gets up, he feels better and better. He didn't really want to do any more videos because he looks kind of rough at this point, hasn't been able to shave because his incision was down by his neck, and so we're going to forgive him. For those of you that follow his channel, he'll be back as soon as he feels better. I would say probably after the holidays. So let's give him a rest. He'll be back showing you videos, next year. And he apologizes for the interruption in his very informative videos. So thank you for, again, following along on this journey with me. Jeff and I both know where that hospital is. Next time, I think I might have to get some walking sticks to maneuver that hill. I mean, that is a killer hill. Actually, there are two of them. So anyway, thanks again for watching. If you're not a subscriber to our channel, please do us a favor. Subscribe down there somewhere under the video is just a little place that you hover over and you can click on subscribe, or look under the title of the video. There should be a place, or there's even this code. Point your QR code reader on your cell phone, point it up at that app up there, and you can subscribe. And again, thank you so much for all of our friends and family and subscribers and followers and neighbors who probably started, well, you all started as subscribers. Yeah, you did. You started as subscribers to our channel. You're now neighbors here in Nice. If we don't get to say it in person, I'm saying it here. Thank you so much for reaching out. I've received so many messages and emails and WhatsApp messages and posts, and thank you so much for reaching out and offering a shoulder, an ear, somebody to go shopping for me, someone to take the garbage out, to do errands. I even had, this was one of my favorite, again, I have to share a funny story. Jeff likes to wander on the streets, and if he sees good trash, he brings it home. No shame here. There are quite a few bookcases and shelves here in this apartment that he found out on the street on trash night. Anyway, one of our subscribers, we now count as a friend, he even messaged me and said that, if I saw any good pallets or things that would be of good use to Jeff, he'd even come over and bring them up to the apartment since Jeff isn't able to carry them home. So You know who you are, and thank you so much. That was probably the absolute best offer of help. I haven't shared it with Jeff yet, but I will when he's better. So again, everybody, thank you. I'll see you in the next video, and maybe Jeff will be with me then too. Take good care. Bye for now.